talk about him quite a bit as we go through, as we get started. Michigan and Providence here from Schneider Arena tonight, and Roger McQueen is on the ice, top line for Providence to get started here in his home debut. Rayon Mullen plays it to Robertson on the opposite side. Ben Robertson, a transfer from Cornell on defense for Michigan, someone they're really excited that they brought in to a defensive core that did have to replace a lot from last season.
Yeah, he moves well, produces some points. They've loved what he's brought. He's got good experience and good leadership already.
Here is Roger McQueen, as you said, 6'6", out with it with Clint Levens. Turn right back the other way, though, for Michael Hage, who's right back in. Coming towards the net, couldn't get the shot on goal. Providence trying to break out the other way with Levens. Towards the end of his shift, and Spence does a nice job coming back on it. Here is McQueen. Roger McQueen, good pass for Bales. He'll turn it in for Santrella. Finds it first, then a deflected pass. Malinowski's shot hit a stick before it got in on Ivan Kovic. In behind, centering pass. Got stuck before it could get to Will Elger. Bales steps up. Bales coming right towards the net. Going to try a wraparound. Excellent positioning there. Then the follow-up chance from McQueen is stopped by Ivan Kovic.
Well, two good plays by Bales. Both of them reads, and both of them are coming in from the point. One time he was on the right side, and the other time the left. That's where discipline's got to come in. You want to do so much out there. You got to be smart. That was not a necessary penalty that was taken.
Providence's power play last year was a little bit of a struggle point. They were 53rd nationally at 16%. In fact, they scored 18 power play goals all year last year. 5 of them came in one game in November against Northeastern.
A lot of video from that game.
Oh, that is onside. It's Elger in behind, a backhand, and it's stopped by Ivan Kovic.
Long extended breakaway or attempted breakaway passes like that, but obviously set play by Providence College, trying to get behind the Michigan defense.
That one skips out of play.
And so, you look good in practice working the power play. The problem is, or your penalty kill, usually the penalty kill knows what the power play wants to do. You're on the same team, pretty obvious, right? This is where, the first few weeks is where you get a ton of work and then you make adjustments.
McCollum back to get it for Providence. Cale McCollum, it's taken away in behind. Shifsky on a backhand chance. Sedback had to fight him off. Well, Garrett Shifsky, who has 4 career shorthanded goals, and you just saw a little bit of why. Logan Sawyer back the other way, stick to side by Ivan Kovic. Looked very calm here in the early going in his first road environment start as a college hockey player. McCollum plays it over McQueen. One-timer is blocked. McCollum keeps it in well. Squirts to the middle. Tanner Adams was coming out with 43 seconds remaining on the penalty tally. So both teams got their opportunity on the power play, and we stay at 1-0 in favor of the visitors from Michigan. Jaden Perron, transfer from the University of North Dakota, where he played the last couple of seasons, a junior from Winnipeg. Mullen finds Perron. Good pass forward for Malcolm Spence. Tried to go backhand across for Park. McQueen comes back defensively for Providence. There's Perron from the outside. That missed Svensback's net high. Another first-year defender, Asher Barnett, Edmonton Oilers draft pick in the 5th round. Michigan with 13 NHL draft picks on their roster this year. Logan Sawyer. Courtesy for Shifsky, who moves it through for Barnett. So second opportunity on the power play for Providence. Each team is 0 for 1 so far. Column held the line momentarily, does manage to push it back in, but a hand pass. So now some of these assistant coaches, their travel patterns are changing.
It's completely
in a major way.
Yes.
Here comes Sawyer, who starts it in for Providence on the power play for the second time. And Logan Sawyer pushes a pass to the dot, where Malinowski got knocked down from behind by Barnett. Out there is the first year killing penalties, and he clears. Off the skate of McQueen. Robertson back. here is Shifsky. Shifsky in 2024 coming from the OHL.
Played in Sudbury. It is a huge get for the Wolverines, given how much they lost in their back end, too.
Had 3 assists in the opening game against Mercyhurst on Friday, including 2 on the power play. Perron goes back to the wall, and Cole McKinney. Michigan patient, 21 seconds remaining on the penalty time. Perron comes back, Rayo Mullen, his shot up high, Svedback fought it off, loose for a moment before Mustard clears.
A really good save by Svedback as he comes to the top of that paint area.
A little bit of a down year by their standards last year, missed the NCAA tournament for the first time in a while. They were the first team out, they finished 15th in the pairwise. In fact, Providence 2 years ago was the first team out of the NCAA tournament in 2024. There's Hughes, who knocks it down at center. That's a pairwise that we will no longer be using in college hockey this year. Pairwise out.
But there's still math
NPI
involved.
is in there. Is still, arguably, there's more math involved.
Well, not good for me.
Here's Hughes. He finds it, and he scores! Maybe the calmest moments we've had of the whole game so far after a special team heavy first period.
You know, teams go in, you got the 15 minutes, and sometimes you need a little to get that flow going again.
Adam Valentini works it back. Rayo Mullen, nice move to get away from Malinowski. Sets up Valentini once more. Now it's Schock with some space, throws it towards the net, and they score! Garrett Shifsky in front on an...
Sometimes you need the break, sometimes you don't want it. You want to keep playing if your team's doing great. And they were doing all right. You know what? Getting in, settling down, and then sometimes, again, you need that extra moment and we come back. But early on, you even said it the first few minutes with the compass we probably saw.
Not as if these guys aren't certainly capable of doing it, but just getting back into the rhythm of the playing back-to-back nights and then coming on the road for the first time, as Natalie talked about, and everything that goes into getting adjusted to the college hockey season. Elger got knocked off. Fantilli, the hit on the blue line. More possession for Michigan to start this second period, and leading by 2. Perron down the wall, tried to center up, comes all the way through for Fantilli. Delayed penalty coming up here against Providence. And McQueen touches up, so Michigan will go right.
Stationed in front of the net looking for rebounds. Everybody maneuvering. And it just making it miserable for Providence College. Very difficult. Another example of getting, a neutral zone opportunity.
They win a face-off. Immediately force it to the neutral zone. Elger plays it back, taken away by Fantilli. And then whistled down.
Shots in the D zone. He says guys who lead scoring in the queue shouldn't be blocking shots, but there's zero ego, zero entitlement from these kids. Already very impressed with the group.
So with 8:25 remaining, here comes Elger into the zone for McQueen. It's such a huge part of this Providence class. And it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out all year long. That's a shot up high, fought off well by Ivan Kovic. And here is Horkoff, who picks it up on the near side. Perron twisting away as Manti gets a piece of it. This is a big question, understandably. How big a deal is it? I think folks have heard the CHL thing thrown around a lot as Svedback secures it for Michigan. This is about the time it makes sense that the game takes on a little bit of a chippier tone to it here in first of 2 this weekend between these two teams.
Yeah, and especially when one team is down by multiple. A different style of play coming in, and the big man, again, we said in the open, he's 6'6". He's already put on at least 5, if not 8, 9 pounds in the last couple of months. So he's over 200 pounds right now. As he continues to get used to, it's a different style of play. It's less casual. It's more frenetic. It's a higher pace to it than in the CHL regularly.
Well, here is McQueen on the puck right now. Immediately comes off for Barnett. There's the style, which you talk about. There's the age, which is a different thing in college.
Difference. Huge. Yeah.
And that's really maybe the biggest part. Is this, that was one of those stories that, a couple of people talk about, McQueen and Malinowski really know each other, and it might have been part of it. But then you talk to him, it was like, no, it was a very big part of why Roger McQueen first initially was aware of Providence, and then why he decided to come to Providence to play college hockey this year. Horkoff tried to knock it out, and the second effort does by Perron, and here is Horkoff coming right through against Centrella. Horkoff listed at 6'5", 201 on the card, the sophomore who came in second semester last year. And the penalties coming up with 1:53 remaining here in the second period. And tension starting to boil over with Michigan up 5-1. The season and opening weekend against Mercyhurst at Yost.
Just to finish it, you asked about McKenna. He's not going to crush you or overpower you like a McDavid or a McKinnon, but what he is, he's so heady. He's so silky smooth. He's one of those very high level. Generational, I don't know if I'm ready to use that, but close.
He wasn't the first one, but maybe the biggest one. As Draper comes in, makes a move to try to get around, then ended up losing his footing as it comes out for Duke. Here's Perron. Pass comes across. There definitely felt like somewhat of a domino effect of, yes, these CHL guys are eligible, but when McKenna started committing, Martone commits as Barnett comes around.
He's played his backside off.
He is the only senior on this Providence roster this year. Spence plays it across, waited a long time for Perron, and Providence comes out shorthanded. Ivan Kovic plays it for Spence. Here comes Perron, who moves in. The North Dakota transfer back for Spence. His shot knocked down. Ends up finding Spence once more as the Friars couldn't get it out. Rail Mullen towards the net, knocked down in front. 10 seconds remaining on the power play time. Shots are up to 31.
You can say it's about a lot of athletic, smaller goalies. When they're on, sometimes they're out. They're out there being aggressive. Maybe once in a while a little over aggressive, but I like his composure that I've seen his compete. And when he's just back on his heels, there's just too much net there. That's where he gets in trouble. But otherwise, very solid in this game.
Drafted in the second round by Nashville this year. So again, when you talk about the undersized piece, it's with the combination of, well, he still went in the second round. That's how much people think of his skill as a goaltender.
Let's not forget that, they have had a guy in Nashville for a while in UC Sorrow that's undersized. He's one of 3 NHL goaltenders below 6 foot. So they understand that it's not always about the height.
Right. The USHL.
Now, does that mean that this year would, if this was his freshman year, would have been easy? No, he still would have had a big adjustment period, but I do think it would have been that much easier. With all that said, the players got to take responsibility too, and he just looks, the highlights that I've seen so far in the reports here, he's bigger, he's stronger. Bruins fans will like that, no question, but it's still years away for him, but that's okay.
And one thing that we talk about all the time, and it may be a similar conversation we're going to have with Roger McQueen, sometimes those bigger guys, it does take a little bit longer. College hockey, just generally speaking.
No question. You get away with a lot. You're bigger, you're stronger, you got more mass. But when guys start catching up and at different levels, and it becomes harder and harder to do the things, and you then have to develop other elements to your game
as the season goes on.
And I understand the importance of getting into the tournament. I get it. It's major for programs, but I think you play the best schedule you possibly can. It doesn't always mean every game's got to be, an unbelievable opponent. Out of conference game has to be this high level, but play the best schedule you can, because in the end, no matter what, it's going to make your team better. But there are, you can make the argument, sometimes if you have teams in there, a couple at least, Eric, that you, in theory, know you're going to beat, that it will help you because of the ranking system.
That is one thing that goes, not that this is specific to your example, but that there used to be the there is Perron. Comes in, no look shot is blocked away by Svedback. Perron maybe he's going to get another chance here. He waits, shoots up high. Svedback again. Continuing to fight here late, down 5-1. McQueen plays it in. Well, it's going to be fun to watch McQueen and his development all through this season for Providence in his freshman year. Playing along with his childhood friend Malinowski, who tried to get a pass to the middle, but broken up again by Horkoff.